political parties must not be brought under the Right to Information Act because they are not public authorities. That is what the centre has told the Supreme Court today. This comes after the Supreme Court sought a response from the centre and 6 leading political parties on whether or not they should come under the RTI Act, and this happened because political parties have not complied with an order from the Central Information Commission that came in 2013 asking political parties to come under the RTI. Among the other things that the centre said to the court today, it was that political parties are not public authorities, that they are not constituted under the constitution or any law that's been made by parliament. But if parties do come under the RTI, their smooth internal functioning will be hampered, and that political rivals will file RTI applications with malicious intent. Well, joining us on the program tonight is Prashant Bhushan, Senior Advocate of the Supreme Court, who has been fighting this case in the Supreme Court, Raghav Chadda of the Aam Aadmi Party, Shazia Almi of the BJP and Brajesh Kalappa of the Congress Party. Prashant Bhushan, we heard the arguments there made by the centre today. I'm sure you weren't surprised, because this is one issue on which most of the national parties have united on and basically said that they don't want to come under the RTI.
Yes, you are right, Nidhi. Unfortunately, none of the political parties really complied with the order of the Central Information Commission. I think perhaps only the CPI may have said something to the effect that they would be willing to comply with it. But other than that, the BJP, the Congress and all the major political parties said that they don't want to comply with it. And the argument again and again is that political parties are not constituted by any law or under the constitution, that political parties are in the nature of voluntary organizations, and therefore that political opponents will harass them. But those are all bogus arguments. Under the Right to Information Act, a public authority is any non-government body which is substantially funded by the government or any government organization. In the case of political parties, they receive full income tax exemption from by virtue of the fact that they are political parties, which means that virtually 35% of their funding comes from the government. Apart from that, they receive various financial benefits such as buildings, plots for their offices, free airtime,
concessions,
basically, etc. Plus they are essentially exercising powers of the state, because it's the political parties who form the government. Political parties can also disqualify their MLAs, their elected MLAs, under the Anti-Defection Act.
Right.
Therefore, there is no reason why they should not come under the RTI.
Let me then ask the parties involved why this continues to be the case. And Brajesh Kalappa of the Congress, first to you here in the studio. This is one issue on which you and the BJP are united. And as Prashant Bhushan says, parties do get tax exemptions. They do get land and other favors from the government. Why shouldn't political parties be more transparent in the way they function?
Nidhi, while I agree with the fact that all these political parties actually do get certain even lands, maybe building, such others from the government. But equally so, you will agree that if there is a allotee of say a DDA apartment, and that is highly subsidized for that person, to take it to these absurd levels, that every person will then be will have to comply with the RTI provisions. So it's this argument doesn't actually take it further. The point is that every political party is actually bound to give every material that is asked for by the Election Commission of India, the income tax authorities and every other institution. So it's and plus what great activity takes place in the political party that the public would be so interested in such a political party. If it's a political party in power, I would understand. But if it's just yet another political party,
then how does it matter? Let it all become public. Let it at least come under RTI. Let people know where the money comes from, who's funding them. What's wrong with that?
No, but see, insofar as the funding of the political process is concerned, I think in the long run it all comes out as to who is funding whom and under what circumstances these funds are being given, and it all comes out. It's not, there's nothing hidden or closeted in all of this. It's just that you see that there are a lot of pitfalls. If,
Actually, it's quite the opposite. Raghav Chadha, you're disagreeing there completely with this argument. What is the AAP's position on this? I mean, do you believe at the end of the day these are national parties running away from transparency on this issue?
Yes, Nidhi, we at the Aam Aadmi Party, very strongly condemn this affidavit filed by the central government in the Apex Court, essentially seeking immunity from the Right to Information Act. As Prashantji rightly said, these are public authorities. They yield political power. Public character is an integral part and an inherent part of their existence. They run the parliament. They offer governance. They form governments, they yield political power, they get subsidies from the government, they give no income tax, no disclosures, etc. So therefore, it is a democratic imperative that political parties fall within the ambit of the RTI. And it's extremely appalling that the Congress spokesperson is today saying that the long term, the funding of political party eventually comes out. The ADR, the Association for Democratic Reforms, which is one of the petitioners in this case, in his report points out that almost 70 or to 75% of the funding of the BJP and the Congress is opaque, comes from unknown, undisclosed sources. And that of the BSP, 100% funding of the Bahujan Samajwadi Party comes from undisclosed sources. So therefore, it is extremely important to identify who is funding them. The facetious argument given by these parties that state organs need to be subject to RTI, but those parties that control the state organs do not need to come within the ambit of the RTI is malafide. Again, the next argument that they usually give is that there are certain minutes of the meetings, strategic decisions that we take while choosing candidates, etc., which cannot be made public. There is ample room in the RTI Act under Section 8 to exempt all these things. What they are actually worried about is that their finances, their financial dealings will come out in the open, and this is precisely why they are running away from this.
I'll take that to Shazia Almi first.
It is also worth pointing out.
It
is also worth pointing out, Nidhi, one quick point.
Okay, Raghav wants to finish one point.
Parties.
Nidhi,
I can't help but express.
The CIC in June 2013 indicted 6 parties, the BJP, the Congress, CPI, CPM, NCP and BSP, for not complying with the CIC orders. They didn't even file a petition to challenge this order in any court. They sat on it and they said that we will not comply with it.
Shazia Ilmi, the fact is that there are figures out
there
with the election
Nidhi, a lot of
that we don't know about where most of the funding comes from. Is election funding, for instance, of parties like the BJP and the Congress. We don't know who these donors are. And therefore, doesn't there need to be a bigger electoral reform and at least the very first step of coming under the RTI? Shazia.
Yes. Nidhi, first of all, let me express my amusement at the indignation expressed by the preceding speaker, who happens to be the spokesperson of Aam Aadmi Party, because he must know that through RTI, there would be applications also being sent to their party chief, asking questions as to how tickets are being given to people like Naresh Balyan, why people like Prashant Bhushan and Yogendra Yadav are being thrown out, why close buddies are being brought into the national executive, and also how those 2 crores.
We are willing to subject ourselves to RTI.
Found their way in Aam Aadmi Party accounts. So let's not kid ourselves. Let's not kid ourselves, and how internal Lokpals can be removed and not invited and thrown out unceremoniously. So let me first
but at least they're willing to come under RTI.
Let them. Who's stopping them, Nidhi? Let the Aam Aadmi Party show the way.
They're not willing to come under RTI. They're stonewalled RTIs. Nidhi, don't be fooled. Let me finish. Yeah. So there have been a lot of RTI applications being made about the functioning of
I would like
and
to
they have been
respond to
stonewalled by none less than Aam Aadmi Party and this thing. But no, you will respond later. Let me finish. The question here, and it's a very important point, that financial transparency and how funds are gotten and spent is a huge issue. While I understand that parties have a right to retain the decisions on the strategy and who they want to include and exclude, I understand, because they have to look at how they want to win it. But financial transparency in terms of funds should be there. Now, is RTI capable of putting some kind of a noose over it? Is a big question. Now, if 6 parties have gotten together, the 6 national parties, and feel they can't function like any other government department, which are indeed subject to the scrutiny of RTI, because they feel they're not public authorities, and that is the explanation given. But
Okay,
the fact
I'm
of the
gonna-
matter
I'm
is
gonna
something
take what you
else.
said
That's
first to
why
Prashant
there is a
Bhushan.
need for Jan Lokpal.
Okay,
That's
one
why
second.
I would like to
Jan
respond to
Lokpal,
this.
because that was a step over and above RTI. Just no.
Okay, 1 second. Raghav, give me a second. I just want to ask Prashant Bhushan this distinction that Shazia made between, yes, it's important for political parties to disclose, their finances and where the money comes from, which they're not doing in any case. And a difference between political decisions that are taken internally, for instance, how parties come to a decision on ticket distribution. How do you, because that is a little tricky, Mr. Bhushan, wouldn't you agree that would it be possible for parties to answer questions under the RTI on internal decisions that are taken about ticket distribution, or why X person was given a ticket or made a general secretary and so on? Mr. Bhushan, do you think that distinction needs to be made?
Well, Nidhi, under the RTI, parties or any public authority has to disclose information that exists in that party. That means information that is recorded in that party. It's not merely information regarding finances, that is the donations as well as the expenditure that is necessary. It's also decisions regarding who are the members of this party, who are the office bearers of this party, what decisions have been taken by the various official organs of the party. Today, none of these is available. Who has taken these decisions? So therefore, most parties do not even abide by their constitution, do not have any democracy or any kind of participation in their functioning, and that is true for Aam Aadmi Party as well. Aam Aadmi Party today has never disclosed its expenditures. It has never disclosed the office bearers and the various official organs of its party. It has never disclosed the members of that party. It has never disclosed any elections. It has never held any elections. It has never disclosed the decisions taken by various official organs of the party. All this is necessary to see, for the people to see whether the party is functioning according to its own constitution, whether the party is functioning democratically
Raghav Chadha,
or
is the AAP being sanctimonious and being hypocritical in taking the moral high ground on this?
No, see, Nidhi, there might be certain disagreements. There might have been one or two lapses in the functioning of the Aam Aadmi Party, but we are a 2-year-old party and we are complying with the highest standards of transparency, probity and propriety. At least we publish all the list of our donations and donors on our website.
only donors are there, nothing else, absolutely nothing else is there.
You see, Prashantji is a former senior colleague and I have the highest respect for him. I would refrain. I don't want to get into, engage into a back and forth with him. I just want to make a limited point, which is that we are willing to and are subjecting ourselves to transparency and probity, propriety, and we are willing to improve ourselves with each passing day. The question today and the affidavits submitted by the central government today is seeking exemption, complete immunity from the RTI Act, which we fundamentally oppose and will continue to oppose. There might have been certain lapses. We want to improve ourselves. We will continue to improve ourselves. We are just a 2-year-old party. Elections will be held. All these things will happen. But at least we publish our, the list of our donors on our website. We seek public opinion before, choosing candidates, etc. And I can go on and on. The question today is that democracy and accountability are the core principles of the constitutional scheme of things of India, and therefore it is a democratic imperative that all parties must be subject to right to information. So it is, it is blatant hypocrisy on the part of the BJP and the Congress today.
Yeah. Let me take that back to the Congress party.
Who in fact legislated this act in the first place.
Yeah, the RTI is the, you legislated the RTI, and today your party doesn't want to be under it.
No, you see, we never intended that our party should be under it. So if you say we legislated the RTI and that we intended our party to be under it, would be totally wrong. But insofar as Mr. Chadda's words are concerned, it deeply concerns me that 12 seats were distributed in Delhi where I think
Well, this debate is not about Aam Aadmi Party.
No, but you're the one who's taking a moral high ground. So let me expose you on public television for 5 minutes. See, no, but let me just do this. So the point is that 12 seats were given, and it was alleged that huge amounts of money exchanged hands. Now, is there going to be a written note in regard to this? Are there going to be minutes of meeting that X amount of money exchanged hands?
Prove it.
No, that's exactly the point I'm making. Exactly the point I'm making. That when you're throwing stones at everybody, Raga, then you must remember that there have been enough and more bolters.
Okay, one second. My question is, even if you think that the AAP has even if the Congress and the BJP think that the AAP has done something wrong, are you not supposed to hold yourselves to a certain standard? Why do we not know where all the money and donations come from for the two big national parties?
See, it's no secret, Nidhi, that the Congress party has been, largely cash-strapped over the last couple of years. You know that. It's in the public domain. And we know that where all the money is headed. And
it's
headed towards a political party which has leagues with very big business interests. But this is something which everybody knows, Nidhi. Where's the point of getting RTI into this?
Under RTI. Why don't you come under RTI?
No, look, like I said, that it takes it to absurd levels to say that, look, you've been given a DDS accommodation.
What about tax exemption?
Everybody enjoys some kind of exemption. What about the press? They enjoy certain exemptions. But don't go to these ridiculous levels. All I'm saying is
the press doesn't enjoy.
No, it does.
Where?
No. Well, that's a point of view, and I don't want to enter into it. But this is the point, that if you're going to take it to these ridiculous levels, because what really essentially happens in a political party that the public needs to know. That's all I'm asking. Is it important?
Shazia,
is it important for a political party to disclose on what basis a particular person was given a ticket?
Yes, maybe it's time we knew.
There has to be.
Maybe it's time people knew, Shazia, why certain people were given tickets. I did ask the counter question whether it would be practically possible, but I'm just saying that in this day and age, maybe people want to know why an X person was chosen for this ticket, for instance.
No, Nidhi, you make a fair point, because everything does become very arbitrary and ad hoc, and many party leaders do operate from a sense of insecurity because they don't want others to grow. So all these games are played, and the hapless volunteers and workers have no idea as to what is going on at the other end. And this happens in all the parties, and one can't run away from it. So let's just be honest about it and call a spade a spade. But there has to be more glasnost, openness. There has to be some kind of transparency, especially where funds are concerned. You see, that's a moot point. And I feel just knowing enough from RTI is not enough, but something bigger to curb that. Just as Jan Lokpal was being planned,
Nidhi,
should be there. So there is actually just an awareness or knowledge of the same, or some weird answer being given by a party office bearer, to an application that is being sent.
I just feel everybody agrees in principle, but nobody wants to implement it. Raghav, I've got 10 seconds.
No. There is a difference. No. There is a difference. The BJP and the Congress do not agree with this even in principle. They are opposing it. The Congress in its time was also fighting for the same things, and the BJP is now filing affidavits in the Supreme Court saying that we want complete immunity from the RTI
you don't act upon it.
They are
you flout it every time.
They have
you
corrupt
your own
people in their
internal
parties. The High Court has indicted them vis-a-vis their
without
funding.
Even informing him.
ADR says
Look,
that
how can you take a
70%
moral
of their
stand?
funding is
You're the
opaque,
last person who should
and
be
then
speaking.
their
I'm sorry.
spokespersons come on primetime television
sorry, but you're talking
and deliver
about
these sermons and shout over something making a valid point. Particularly a person like Shazia,
all right, guys. I have to leave it at that. Mr. Bhushan is patiently listening in as the three parties point fingers at each other. Thank you very much to all of you for joining us. There's a lot of viewer feedback on this already. It's an issue that certainly does interest ordinary folks who just, I think, want to see more accountability and transparency as far as India's political parties are concerned. Thanks very much for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow night at the same time. Goodbye.